Bien, pues es un gusto y un honor estar aquí con todos ustedes. Esta vez nos congrega el que esté Francis Queré con nosotros acompañándonos. Voy a hablar un poco de inglés para que también lo entienda él. No se vayan a burlar mucho de mí.
I didn't get it, but
Francis, thank you to be here. It's an honor to have you here in Mérida,
Okay.
Yucatan, in
Right.
the Maris University. For us, it's a very special moment to share your work, your dreams, all this stuff you are doing in Africa and in Berlin, and we hope to have you here again in the next future. And thank you very much to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ahora Jackie nos va a leer una reseña de la carrera de Francis.
Good. Now I
Buenas
have
noches.
to work.
Diego Francis Queré es originario de Gandó, Burkina Faso, ubicado en África Occidental. Como primer hijo del patriarca y de acuerdo a sus tradiciones, era el único que podía recibir una educación formal. Es arquitecto ingeniero, egresado de la Universidad Technique en Berlín y desde 2005 director fundador de Queré Architects, con sede en la misma ciudad. Mientras realizaba sus estudios, estableció la Fundación Queré, iniciando el proyecto de recaudación de fondos para construir una escuela en su comunidad natal. A pesar de los retos económicos y de logística, Queré estableció como meta reinvertir el conocimiento aprendido en su comunidad, con quienes continúa trabajando de manera cercana. A lo largo de su trayectoria, se ha caracterizado por integrar de manera innovadora técnicas tradicionales de construcción con métodos contemporáneos. Recientemente fue seleccionado como el primer arquitecto africano para diseñar Serpentine Pavilion en los jardines de Kensington, en Londres, para este verano, y próximamente también realizará un teatro móvil en Berlín. Entre sus obras destacan diversos edificios de infraestructura educativa en su natal Gandó, el Centro para Mujeres Octava, el Centro de Investigación para Prácticas Constructivas Ecológicas y Sustentables, conocido como el Atelier, el Parque Nacional de Mali, el Teatro Volkswagen Satellite en el Aeropuerto Tempelhof, la Rambla Camper Store, entre otras. Recientemente colaboró en el diseño del pabellón Camper Pop-Up Project en colaboración con el Museo Vitra y autor de las exhibiciones Colorscape en el Museo de Arte de Filadelfia y Radicalmente Simple en la Pinacoteca en Múnich, que continúa en exhibición durante este mes. También ha sido distinguido con el premio Aga Khan de Arquitectura, el Premio Global de Arquitectura Sustentable, el Swiss Architectural Award, la medalla de oro en los premios Global Holcim y el premio Schelling de Arquitectura, entre otros. Es miembro honorario del Instituto Americano de Arquitectos y del Real Instituto de Arquitectos Británicos, catedrático invitado de la Escuela de Graduados de Diseño de Harvard y la Academia de Arquitectura en Mendrisio, Suiza. Demos una cálida bienvenida a nuestro invitado, Francis Queré. Welcome, Francis.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Hello. So I'm sorry I didn't get everything, but it has to deal with my career and my life as an architect. It's a little bit complicated. I brought some presents for everyone. Since you are so many and I have like this, I will let it here and Bunch will have the job to distribute. So thank you very much for inviting me. Honestly, I would love to speak to you in Spanish, but Burkina Faso was a French colony. So I learned French at school, and then I went to Berlin to study. So there I had to learn Germany. Afterward, I won an award. I was forced to start to speak in English to be able to speak to international public. So there is no time to learn Spanish. So, but I think you will understand. I will try to go with you through my work. One thing that I want to say is, listen to me. I am a very, very happy man, really. And you understand. If you know where I'm coming from, Gando, and then I'm here standing before you, you know that I'm very happy. So, and that is what I will share with you. And I will try to show you how I work with my community. And to say you that architecture is not just one way. That's why I will not focus simply in the project in Africa. Of course, this will be the center, but to try to say to you, we have a tool that we could use to change people's life. So I will begin with this, if it works. That is if I work in the village in Gando. If I arrive, I am dealing with old people, where you don't have normal education. In this place, old people own the knowledge. If I am in Gando, even now, I have to convince, I have to talk, to tell to the older people that I have our own knowledge. But you don't do that and say, listen to me, our own knowledge. No. If you are a little boy from a community, they always will consider you little. My job, my challenge is to work with them as a team to convince the village and everyone that we have to change things. If we don't change, we will not have a proper development. So this is one team. Francis in the middle trying to explain to the older people that it's important to build up with the most material that we have. And sometime, I hope to work, sometime I am a teacher. So if I go to Burkina today, I go with a lot of young people from Europe. Here, my student from Switzerland with me in Burkina, where we try together to work with the community. And I want them to put the finger in the dirt. So this is the best way to learn, really, believe me. Another aspect is I have a team in Berlin. So I try to show you, this is one time, I think 2 years ago. This is a couple of years before. Sometimes we have a reason to celebrate when we win the prize. Everyone come with me. So, of course, I started my work alone. Of course, I keep pushing, but we need people to back you. And that's why, for me, it's important to talk about these people. If I am in Gando, sometimes the entire village is part of my team because everyone work. So, yeah. Now this is the actual team. I think 4 people are missing. Linda, Valeria, Mumini, and then Busani, okay? From Italy, however. Yeah. So this is the actual team. We work together on pushing from every nation. We have Blake, we have Linda. No, not Linda there. We have Adriana, Blake, Nina, myself, Damien, and Andrea Mareto, and Hame. So, okay. Where I'm from Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso was a French colony. Here, in this picture, as you can imagine, there was an idea to transform the capital city in the second Paris with big boulevard. Try to use the traditional construction and direct it to become a proper grid. So, but look at what happened. A couple of years later, this is actual picture taken by myself. If you fly over Ouagadougou, you will see that the structure is growing, horizontal growth. So, like you can see, even with, and it goes far. In the car, the lady that picked me just used the vocabulary that I'm using myself. The urban planning is eating the land that you need to grow food for the people, and that is negative. I'm not criticizing the colony. This is something else. I simply will miss, for me, I'm missing what would happen if the French wasn't in Burkina Faso. We will miss this. But what I'm talking is I'm criticizing our society. I'm criticizing the elite, that is weak. Instead of giving good solution to the people, we just let things become so weird. So this is reality in Ouagadougou today. The pointer is, okay. There is a way of making things in my country that I don't like. The Western culture is so attractive to us, and we try to copy it. And there is not a big problem to be inspired and do something. But if you keep replicating object, like here. I don't know which one is the original. Do you know? Here, the Eiffel Tower was made to try to check engineering and then to show what you can do with steel, to demonstrate. But in Burkina, we see it, wow, it looks great. Let's build a monument, and we shall do it. So there is a political party in Paris. So, oh, they're doing like this. Oh, let's create a political party. But we ignore the local reality. And so you cannot have a proper development. Here is reality. In Ouagadougou, if you want to have clean water, you have to have a pot like this to keep your water. So if you go on the weekend from Merida to the village to visit your relative, is like this. You may told me it's the same here, but I'm not sure. So here, how we transport goods, I don't know if it's the same here. I don't think so. But this is reality, Burkina Faso. So the people. So this is a picture of a village. Gando may look like this. Here, people live together for generations. And around, if it rains, they grow corn and they're happy. That was the time. They don't need more than that. Yeah. And now we have to go to the 21st century. So we try to create educational infrastructure. This is a school. And to believe me, myself, I grew up in a class like this with more than 150 other kids. There's little rooms, no light, and no ventilation. And you could touch the ceiling if you put your hand like that. But I was lucky because this brought me to the Western world. Here, people in Burkina Faso, people build with clay. And building with clay has a lot of problems. You have the water that just destroy the structure. You build with the community. Here, it's a beautiful picture. It's a nice composition if you look at the color. But I will shock you if I tell you no one sit and calculate how to do that. It just happened. You finish to build a house and you try to put a plaster and a color to protect it. You have to go to the forest and look for the big tree and get from the skin. But you know, nature is not a factory. So that's why you have different colors. And sometimes even nature is not strong enough. They use bituminous product like this. You could see here, the black one. It's not natural, but the other are natural. Look at what happened then. After one rainy season, everything changed. The colors go. In my country, people work with nature. And then you have to deal with the nature. If you try to tell people, why do you change the color of your house? I mean, it doesn't work. And we have some project from the UNESCO that try to say we have to do conservation, preservation. A traditional house in Africa, change the color whatever it wants, and his size. If the population number is reduced, the house shrink and grow if the population number grows. So clay is the most building material in Burkina. A problem with the rain. The rain is destroying the facade. People try to protect. I have some problem with the pointer. So, okay, that's what you do. You put a plaster to protect, but the rain will destroy it. What people do is to look for solutions. Here is one solution. It was born because someone wanted to do an advertisement for sell telephone banking. In Burkina Faso, not everyone has access to the bank. To reach the people from the countryside, you need to do an advertisement so that people can use their cell phone to send money to the village, those working in the state. And someone did a big board to do the advertisement. The wind arrived, kick it down, because there was no good engineering inside. And another one came of the idea to put it in the facade. So he did it, and today, everywhere when you go through Burkina, you see everyone is painting his hut because it's colorful, it's nice, and it gives a protection. The good thing is it's not giving a good protection because so the rain will destroy it again. So it's not a good solution, I may say. Fire is a big problem for the roofing. So destroy everything. I was lucky. I studied architecture in Germany. And this is Mies van der Rohe. Not many people knows this building, but me, I know this building, and I love it because it's small and simple. And I was dreaming why I cannot do the same in Gando to make things better instead of big and so not useful. And Luis Kahn, I was privileged, like you, to go to university to have access to this tremendous thing, to this great work of other people, like I had the chance to see yesterday in Uxmal. If I knew about all of these, I may be starting to build differently. But however, access to information is very important. For me, to discover the work of Luis Kahn was important. There is some other building in Africa that I love. This is a monument in Timbuktu. It's a clay construction. This building is more than 600 years old. Those things impressed me, and I wanted to learn from it and do something for my community. The most important thing in this building is people do it together. No one is not an architect and a constructor. No, the entire community built, and I loved this idea. And I wanted to apply it in my building. So like you can see, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to finish to study, to start. When I was at the second year, studying was boring for me because I went to Europe straight ahead with the idea to learn a little bit and go back to Gando and start to build. So in the meantime, I could draw. I made some researches, and I decided to go to Gando to build. That is what I did. With the community, we started to build. This is already the extension building. You see a lot of people carrying material to go to the building site. We use these stones to make basement. Here is not something new for you, but for me in Burkina was good to use these to make the basement and to save money or to reduce the cost. So I was able to build this school as a student, a second-year-old student at university. And here is something that is modern, the ceiling, made out of clay bricks instead of metal sheet. And you see the two pictures, right where I grew up and left the thing that I introduced to my culture. With this project, we was very, very successful. It was like a miracle in the village. The son of the chief went to study, and everyone says it's a waste. Why do you send him to school? He should stay and do agriculture. Now he came back, and with the community, he was able to build something new, modern. So everyone was surprised and excited. So we had to build an extension. But again, how do you explain people who are neither able to read nor write? Drawing, engineering. So most of the time I make very simple drawings. Sometimes I draw on the sand, really, just to explain. Or I make a section like this one that reflect the building. So the section is the building. So really, and finish. I put this section on the wall with some writings in French to say what are the layers, how big it is, and finish. And so we build. Here, to improve and to convince, we are using bricks made out of clay. I don't use the same bricks. I try to use a trick. I put a little cement inside the bricks, and I do a compression for my people. Oh, wow, there is cement inside. It's a modern material. It's not more matte, because they don't want to have matte building. Matte building is not chic, you know, it's not fancy. So Francis put a little bit cement, make a compression. The bricks look similar. Oh, it's modern. Let's do it. It's a good way. So And then that is how you do. You use a main power to make the bricks, and you dry the bricks somewhere, and then sometime I have to make a mock-up to convince. So if you arrive and you start to build and won't understand, so I make like one by one model. Here is an arch. I will not jump, but this guy is me, if the PowerPoint work. This guy is me. And then you see my team at the very beginning. This was 2001. Everyone tried to join you, but they don't really trust it because it could crash. This is made out of clay bricks. No one have seen this in Burkina Faso. No. But then I started with it in Ghana. And you could believe me. The audience was like you sitting and watching me doing it. If it's crash, you know what happened. No one will trust it. You should stop and go. But we were successful. And we built, that is a vault, a big vault, an 840-meter span out of clay. As you can see. It's like you arrive, no one trusts you because you're young, and suddenly things are happening. And so there is a big, big excitement. So we built the first school for 150 kids. And 3 years later, we was forced to build an extension because a lot of kids wanted to attend school. And there is it. The kids use every corner of the building, really. Yeah. Girls and boys, that's the same. Now I'm going to show you how you use clay to make a floor. It helps save money. I have discovered today how here my colleague architect tried to use ancient techniques to do concrete. So here the women are the expert. They just beat the soil really by music. I still have jet lag. Cannot express you how powerful this is. To see these women by a drama, so that beat and beat and beat, and everyone beat at a certain time like drag. You are in the ecstasy. So if Bunch is beating and my dear friend close to him, that I remember the name, beat, it's differently. But with the music, you become one. And every beat is the same. And that is what you discover if you work with tradition, if you work with people, if you take time to invest yourself with these people. It's so exciting. And I discover why the floor become flat with no tools to just check it. So and they start to polish. I tried to polish the soil. So don't worry. The women start to polish the soil with their hand. So for a long time. So it's a great technique. So it helped me to save money. If you check now, so you remember from the beginning, it started here, and it goes all the way to here. And so you could believe me, it's not Photoshop, it's reality. Yeah. So that is how I started. So with the big heart for my community, and then some institutions start to become aware about my work. They wanted me to do some work for them. The first one was the Aga Khan Foundation, who wanted me to create a park. And I do build a big park in the capital city of Mali. I'm not showing you this today, because I'm like everyone. If you do a conference, you want to go and show to the people the best thing that you're doing now, and you often forget the other project. So I'm sorry, but I will talk about this project because it's so important. This building was built in the city called Mopti. And Mopti is in the desert, but at the same time in the middle of water. It's like Venice, but in the middle of Africa. This exists. And the excitement is there was no land. And the client fill in this piece of land, and I was supposed to build a museum there. This is a very important mosque, and if you work with this client, which is the Aga Khan Foundation, it's very delicate because they want to have always the best quality, and it's not easy. But we succeed. And we start to use the clay bricks, the red clay, just to build. And it finished. I mean, it looked like small for you. But imagine you come in this place, and so as a tourist, as a visitor, there is no toilet. There's no toilet. And now you have this center called Centre de l'Architecture de Terre. And then you have a bathroom, you have a cafe, and it's like, wow. You travel through the desert and you arrive. It's like a Fata Morgana, but reality. But the most important thing for this project, oh, by the way, I didn't want to be part of the project. And they told me, Francis, you don't need to draw. You don't need to design a new building. So we just want you to take the first school, the Gando model, and just go and replicate it. At the end, now I have the Gando school with glass, which is amazing, huh? Isn't it? And inside, I have a ceiling, a clay ceiling. And why is this building important? Very simple. In the desert in Mali, people cut trees to do ceilings. In the desert. Now, I was able to introduce a clay ceiling, which is a great help to the environment. It helps you save the environment. That's why this project is so important. So some other people become aware of my work. This is an artist called Christoph Schlingensief, a German. I was approached by the Goethe Institute. I should contact Christoph. Christoph is an artist who is dying, but he wants to do his last project with me. I say, why? Yes, he wants to meet you and talk to you about his last project. Okay, I meet him. He wants to build an opera. An opera in Africa, in Burkina Faso, where I'm struggling to build little schools, and you want to build an opera. Can you imagine the controversy around the project? But then I met him. He was so powerful, so full of energy, and has a big picture. And he loved my work in Gando. He called it social plastic, referring to Joseph Beuys, a German artist that passed a long time ago, that everyone is an artist. And if you happen to get everyone be involved in the structure, there's a social plastic. And I said, wow, I'm not just building with mud, I'm an artist doing social plastic. So let's go, we start to build, we start to fly to Burkina. This is a picture in Ouagadougou, in Ouagadougou, but in Burkina, poor country, you arrive with the camera like this gentleman over there. So, and you following someone, it means this guy is very rich. This is one thing. Another thing is, he says he wants to build an opera. And the government in Burkina Faso, oh, he wants to build a second Sydney opera. Let's go ahead. They start to give him land in the best part of the city. No, he didn't want to have it because he's an artist. He has another vision in his mind. He wanted to do something in the desert. And I, that introduces him to my community, discover later that he has no money. That's how artists are. So we started, and it was emotionally a very strong moment for me because I knew he was really affected. He was going to die, but he was full of energy. And sometimes the cooperation worked away. So I started to do some drawing, and he said, wow, I want to see them. Could you give me your drawing, Francis? Like these pictures, I just hand out, and the next day, on the road, I see in every German newspaper my drawing. Because the vision of Christoph is shaping. Francis Kere is his architect. I said, my goodness, there's no way to think. So the artist's life is a public life. There is no secret. There is no time to breathe. Everything you do was good. And even the missed success was successful for an artist. So that was the cooperation. I had to keep the line and try to do a good project. Because if he stopped to build, it will be a success for him because he's an artist, but I'm an architect. We need the basement. At first, we need drawing. We need sketches. We need to check with an engineer. and then we need to build proper basement, walls, and then roof, windows, and everything. An artist doesn't care about it. Doesn't care. So we was looking for a land while we was publishing our pictures. And suddenly, we found a piece of land 40 kilometers from the capital city to build an opera. Everyone was shocked. The Burkina government, Francis, why you didn't tell your friend we wanted to have it in the best part of the city, close to the palace of the president? I said, I can't. And the development actor from Germany arrived and said, this is sabotage. This guy is going to ruin the name, the reputation of Germany. You should stop to work with him. You are so modest, a nice guy. Why do you work with this monster? I said, I went back to Berlin. All the artists were celebrating this project, wanted to meet me, wanted to kiss me, men, wife, everyone. So what you do, go ahead. Keep yourself, be honest to architecture, because that is the most thing you can. And we did it. So we was talking, and then he says, I'm going to send container, 13 container with the theater, with everything. I said, no, you shouldn't. You want me to work with you like I did in Gando. He says, okay, I understood you. But then suddenly the container was on the way to Burkina Faso with the camera team. I couldn't stop him. I tried to say we will not work, and I get a call from the former German president, Köhler, who says, your friend says he cannot talk to you anymore. He needs to send a lot of people to convince you to talk to him. So he could just get everyone be involved in the project. So much energy he has. So that is it. And we start to draw. Rendering here, place we are in Africa. So please look at, you cannot see, but some elephants. We had to put some elephant in the drawing because we are in Africa, of course. And then the buildings start to grow. This is what I can. He passed away, yes, 2010, when we start to build, but we keep pushing the project. He has a vision. Everyone was laughing about him, but we built. If I go today, going through the site, I know what I have. Architecture gives you a tool to act. If you know about it, how you can change people's life, you should go ahead. So this is the project today. If I go, I have suddenly in the desert 200 kids that are going to school. Exactly now where I'm talking to you. So we are fighting to just extend the school because so much kids want to attend education. So in the place where there was no school, you have a lot of Europeans going to do performances. This is our studio, film studio and sound studio that we build. Don't laugh, but this is reality. The kids are learning to do film, to do theater, to make photograph and learn to cut. 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old. That was his vision that we didn't get. I got it, yes, of course, I can say it today. And this is it. And we build housing. We try to create luxury. So, what is luxury in Burkina Faso? Luxury in Burkina Faso is to happen to create a little building like this, and you arrive, you turn off a button and light come. And then you turn out another one, and you have water. And to be able to introduce a toilet inside the building is absolute luxury in Burkina Faso. That's what I created with this opera village. And it works. Here, a clinic for the opera village. He was dreaming to create a clinic down. If he made performances and get tired, he go down, get fixed and go up and celebrate. For me, I understood he wanted to have an open structure to be connected to the landscape. He loved the desert. And then we did. A lot of opening, always to have the vision and the connection to the landscape. This project helped me a lot, to understand myself and what is my profession, and then to be inspired by people that has nothing to do with architecture. We need these people. In my case, I was lucky to have a lot of teachers that taught me that the thing that I feel, my school in Gando was a person. I wanted to have something private, and teachers told me, no. Listen to us. What you're doing could be a powerful contribution to discussion to architecture. I didn't get it. I was looking to them again, stupid European people. I'm fighting to build a little school, and you want to tell me about something big. I just left. But later understood it was important to keep pushing my work. Another thing was these artists that give me a vision to understand the drama in architecture. So, using the most available material. Another client arrived, Mr. Rumstadt. He wanted to work on at the Opera Village site. A lot of people in Germany wanted to be part of this Opera Village. It's a little project, but it has a big impact in Germany. We couldn't accept him. Oh, he came one day, Francis, would you agree to help me build my clinic? I said, okay, I'm an architect, why not? But I love the Opera Village. I want you to use the studio from the Opera Village. You remember this little studio? And do my clinic. I said, yes, why not? So you start to put it together, that is it. And you try to use it to do plans. And he wanted to have a little clinic, and then it started to grow. And we arranged the building next to each other because we couldn't plan. Just take it, put next to each other. And then we was forced to fill in the gap left because he wanted to have more room. So whatever, you can see it. So, and we start to build something that, and that is the clinic today. So I had even in September or August to shut this. And with this way of working, I use material that are available, and you will be shocked. Most of these buildings that you see in Burkina, I had to train my people to do this kind of work. So we started in my village, and now we're building everywhere. And then these people was trained by myself. I cannot weld, but I have a vision, you know. I can give it to people, and they help to do. To create very simple room, very clean. We are able to create with clay infrastructure like an healthcare center, and to attract people that normally would never go to a doctor. Like here, these women belong to a tribe that never go to a doctor, and they came to get treated. And while their parents are being treated inside, you will see kids playing outside. Clinic in Burkina Faso means dirt, means death. No one goes. But my building is attracting people. And this is important. This is Gando. I started with the primary school. Now I am building a high school in Gando. And here you will read that I'm still struggling. On the other hand, I have to push my community, and now there is need, but we still need some little money. So what I'm doing is try to do some project in the Western world to earn money, or I have a foundation. I will talk later about it. But here, the high school project is so important to me because basic education is good, but to go forward, you need higher education. And the beginning is a high school project. And I designed this project with a lot of love, I could say to you. I started to do this project when my father passed away. So instead of being sad, I took all the energy and I designed this school. And to one of my team member, Ines Beckdold, told me one day, Francis, I think this project is so good. There is this foundation called Holcim. I think you should submit this project. And I was looking to her like, what again, stupid, a team member. What you should have sent to a cement company, a clay building project. What is that? But we did it. And then this project won the Holcim award, regional award, and later on the Holcim Global Gold, which is a lot of money for someone like me dealing with math. It's like $300,000 US. please don't come after the election and ask for the money. It's already invested in Gando, okay? So, but what I'm talking is about design, is about the power of design, is about to engaging yourself for your community and creating a structure that shine in the world. That is what I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to push the student to don't stop. If you have an idea, put it properly in the paper. Go discuss with your teacher, ask them. And if they cannot help you, go to the village, look for someone that is old and old knowledge that will help you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? So we start here. Without knowing the Mayan architecture, Burkina Faso is flat. And I try to create a platform to create a sort of ventilation. And that is why you see the landscape, and to create a ventilation system through canals. But I am doing this without knowing the architecture of Mayan. You understand? Now I hope I will be able to improve it. But look at what I wanted to do, create space. And this time I didn't want to make little bricks. We wanted to make big elements. Here we put more concrete. Now you start to make a recipe and then make a mock-up to find the best material. This is what I'm doing all the time. It's not rammed earth. No. I call it poor concrete. Clay. And that's what we do. We make a form and you fill in and with some people. And here we go. The community. And this is how it looks like. Sometimes it's rain, but we wait for the rain to go. And the rain is bringing the sand that we need to use for the building. We take it with clay, and then we go. So here, the building is growing. There are already 500 kids attending the high school. I'm not lazy, but the idea and the little problem we have is we need more resources, more money. I said, well, let them go to school. I will go a little bit in Europe, accept the sort of project people are giving me. I start to build them. I will earn money, and I come back to build. And so the first one of the first one is an installation where I should create a gathering space. And I'm always thinking about trees. And with trees, you could do a lot. In trees in Burkina, this is in front of my compound. The women are sitting, the men are sitting, kids are playing. It's like a microcosmos. And then I try to play with the sun. And so thinking about the primary shelter, and then create sketches. And here, it was in Copenhagen, Louisiana Museum of Modern Art. And I wanted to use the most available material there, wood, a very cheap one, to do a structure. And that is how it works. And in Scandinavia, they use a lot of wood. And when I was asked to do the structure, I didn't want it to do, because I was saying, hey, what can you do there? From Africa, you have mud, some branches, but these people know to deal with wood. I was shocked when we finished to open this. There was no architecture meeting without pressure to call Francis to attend. And I said, but I come to talk to you about how to build with wood. No, I have no time. I have to keep building in Gando. It's important for me. So you will be surprised in life. Everywhere you go, you could make a contribution to architecture if you are fidel to yourself and what you do. Me, I am looking how you could shape. I'm looking what kind of material is available, and I just go. Very naive, and then I can create things like you can see. They love it, really. Furniture. I'm designing furniture nowadays. This happened by accident in Europe. Normally, I do them in Africa. I took part to the Milan Design Week last year. I had to design a pavilion out of marble. I did it. 2 weeks before the opening, they wanted to have a furniture designed by myself. I was looking for some chairs, And they loved them. But then they said, but Francis, it's important if you just create a furniture. So, you know how to design a furniture. It takes a lot of time. Okay, I didn't want it. At the end, they pushed me to do. What I did is just go back to Burkina. This set belongs to my mother. This picture is from a museum in Munich, Pinakothek der Moderne. I just took this hawker, came back, made the sketches on the table, calling Nina, one of my team members, said, Nina, please put this in the computer exactly like a design. And make it a little higher, around 40, something that European can sit. I finished. We did it, and Riva accepted to build it. He loved it. I asked this guy, why do you accept to build this? There was no time to explore. How could you? He said, you know, when I saw your design, it was so simple and elegant. And I said, oh, elegant, wow. So I'm not simply able to build with mat that stand the rainy season. I am designing elegant furniture. Okay, let him do it. And he did. And before I finish, the guy that provide the marble for the pavilion asked me to just design a sculpture for a foundation in Italy. They're raising money to support people, to let them die in dignity, you understand, to create a hospice where they can stay and then go in dignity. It's something that is touching me if you talk about it. But I said, yes, I love this idea, but I'm not an artist. I'm an architect. Yes, Francis, but it will be good if you contribute, you know. Renzo Piano is giving a piece, so they start to pull big name, you know. You're a naive little architect. If you understand all of these big names, wow, I am so important. So, but I had no idea what to do. Okay, take the zebra stool, put it like we did, make it higher. They wanted to have a sculpture 2 meter high. Okay, we did it. Some renderings, putting them together. And the rendering must be to deal with Africa. It's a rendering. And so, but this is the project. Finish. So I took these seats and I excavated. I say with two, I start to become a weird artist. So build a mock-up out of the excavation, inside and outside. I tried to talk. At the end, he told me, Francis, it's too expensive. It will cost more than 200,000 euro to do it. I said, what? But you wanted me to build a nice sculpture. And then at the end, we used leftover. That way you see different layers. And he could build but just one piece. To my surprise, when I was showing the project, I was sitting, coming from a travel from Burkina, always tired. I was sitting and almost sleeping. Suddenly, I heard a cry. I wake up, and I saw hands of a very successful architect in Italy raising the hand up, and I saw this picture. He won my sculpture. And I look at wow, this successful guy is so happy to have my work. And he's a successful architect that can fit me. Wow. Okay, I am an artist. So that's why they kill you. But I keep going. So a couple of days while struggling to other project, we got a call. I have to make a contribution for Chicago Biennale. I have to give an idea of building a tower. I had no time. You know, you have to know that I'm still still concentrate trying to create my buildings in Africa and to coordinate them, to push. If you come with a new idea, sometimes I'm surprised. I try to reject. So I am proposing weird ideas. When these people come, I was thinking about a zebra stool. I said, okay, let's take the zebra stool and scale it up to a tower, 200 meter high. See what we'll do. Okay, my office looked at me very weird. So, okay, then you should make the sketch at Francis. Its deadline is already done. Of course, you're thinking about what you do. I said, if these people ask me, they don't want me to do because I am a great architect. No. Maybe I have some ideas that these people want to now. maybe a story. So I try to talk about architecture dream, about desire. So following, cities, it's like a Tower of Babel, yeah, Cinderella, or Timbuktu, like the dream of architecture. I just put this together. Suddenly, these people love it. And I say, oh, what? I have to build it. So, and then we're working on that, but just for the Biennale, okay? So, in Burkina, I keep doing a lot of projects. Here is a project I would talk about the material. I will not talk about drawing. So I'm sorry for that. But your teacher will do that better for you in a class. I want to show you material and then the process. Here is an orphanage. We call it Centre d'accueil, which is better than an orphanage, you know? Centre d'accueil is like a center that welcomes kids that have no parent. It's better for these kids, you understand, to be there than to say, I am living in an orphanage. Because there is a school inside, and they should live with other. That is the centre d'accueil, where they live. And they just show you how we try to create compounds. Okay? And suddenly, people are surprised. So there is nothing. Suddenly, they see me coming with a team, talking to the population, and we extract this material, we start to build, and then suddenly it's looking good and kids are playing. I wanted to do like this. So it's really nice. If I arrive, the building is not finished, but everyone is taking over the building, and I'm very happy. So checking my mistakes. So you could do this better, you could do this better. But suddenly you see the kids, everyone using it, and you say, wow, it's great. They love it. And this is about it. The tree is still very little in the center, but it will grow in a couple of years, like the tree that was planted by your school. And then some of these kids are training their muscle. They're so happy to have a shower. So that is it. I'm playing soccer inside. And when they're tired, they sit in the shadow and watch. So I'm trying to create a structure for kids to be happy in. You know, that's what I'm doing. So here I will show you how I really work. Okay? It's gonna be a little boring, but I have to show you. I do drawings like everyone, really. Here I wanted to create a compound. It's a high school that is a client. The two projects belongs to one client, to different clients. It's not my foundation and not my own project in Gando. This is in Kudugu, a university city. And I have drawings. We wanted to use ventilation, passive ventilation, wind towers. So here you got a piece of land. You have to be careful. You cannot start to build in Burkina. Land is a big deal. There is no boundary, no visible boundary, but people knows to whom belongs this land. What I do, I get the plot from the administration, but then I go and start to talk to the people. It's me. You see me in the middle. This in the center is me. I go, and you make yourself little to listen to the older people, and it is this guy. And sometimes you need a translator. He has to go again in the knee to show how important this old man is. And then you listen, you discover a lot about the land, and then you could start to build. Nothing will happen to you. There is no time to talk about that. That could be a book. Really amazing. And then I take over the control. So, and try to show planes to my people, and that is laterite. Laterite is a sort of clay, but it's hard. So if you get it out, it's very soft. You cut it, you take it out. With the air, it's getting stronger and stronger. And they use it. Like you could see they extract, and I go to check. I still go to check, really. So, and we bring it to the building site. And then here is something that is important. We cut this laterite. If you cut it with the machine, for the people, machine is innovation. So it's no clay more, it's not laterite, it's become more. Imagine when I start to build, in Ghana. When I arrived, the first time when I said to my people I wanted to use clay, first I arrived, I say, I'm going to build a school with you. I have the money, a little money and knowledge to build a school. Everyone was screaming, really celebrating. And I said, I want to use clay. They didn't want to let me do. You know, I had to convince. So since that time, I'm using little ideas to convince. Here is one idea, cutting with a machine. And this is the site. And to the site, we start to build, and it's like cinema. It's like theater. It's like more. You start to build, and the population is very curious. The kids come to sit and watch what's happening, because there is no TV, there is no internet. Cell phone, yes, just for money banking, but not more. But a building with a material that you had that looks suddenly so beautiful, a wall that is so high and not collapsing, it is miracle. Let's go to see. And this is what gives me energy, you know, the excitement. And that is it. It grows. We work sometime night. We do some tests. I introduced these myself, and my people took over. Every time when they do something, they try to climb and check how it works. And I fear all the time no one should fall down and hurt himself, but it never happened. But they do it, and we use metal sheet, is now in Burkina. So that is something surprising. I try to do my best all the time. So if I rest here, I use like leftover to try to make a transformation. And this is leftover from the concrete beams. I took the piece of metal, I just bend them to make a sitting, because it's a school. Instead of buying cheap material from somewhere, I want to create them myself in Burkina. And I do. We bend them. If it's good, we go over to buy more steel just to do furniture. And that is how we do. Very in a simple workshop. And that is what we can do. So sitting in the building site, and you will be surprised. This sitting is now in Philadelphia Museum of Modern Art as a permanent collection. But if I tell my people, you know, what we was building, what you build is now in the museum. First the question, what is a museum? Can we eat inside? So, do we have drinks inside? Yes, you could buy, but they just keep things that are important. What? The share is important. I say, yes, it is important because we did it. And that's what people appreciate. And they're already surprised, always, all the time. And it's good to explain and say, what we're doing have a value. Yeah, we go to massive production. Here, the skin, I show you how we use eucalyptus wood to do that. Very quick. I forgot to add some details in my presentation, but it's simply done, no complication. So, in Burkina, it could be very hot. I learned that it could be hot here too. Look at my solution. We have no aircon, and that is a window we work in, cutting the eucalyptus wood. We just put the bucket. If it break, kids could put it. You fill it with water. The teachers could do it. And then, so you cool the air inside through evaporation. Very simple techniques. So you don't need to use aircon where you have no money for electricity. So that is the heart of my work. But for an architect, the job is not done if you build in Burkina. You have to care for the environment. Here, look how I plant trees. So it is raining from the end of, or middle of July to the end of September. And then there is no rain. But how a tree should grow in that environment. The soil is really hard. What I do, I have found an idea how to use less water to grow trees. And that's what my idea. You take a pot, you put a little hole, and the pot keep the water for very long, and the water is going direct to the roof. Don't tell me why you don't use pipes, Francis. Pipes will break. There will be no one to fix it. Pot, if it break, the mother of Bones or my dear friend Close will bring it the next day to the school. Finish. So, no way to wait for someone to fix it. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? And that is it. So, and then here is something that I want you to know, very important if you have to work in Africa one day. It is logic to plant trees. It is. Here, there may be no need, but Burkina Faso is almost a desert. If you arrive with a good idea and say, okay, plant trees, and you go, if you come from the UN with a big plan with a lot of money, they will respect you, listen to you. And if you leave, they will say, okay, go, you're ignorant, you don't know our culture. In a culture where the life expectation is under 50 years old, no one would put the effort to dig a hole so big like I'm doing to plant a tree that he will never even not see the shadow or the fruit before passing away. You better go quick, make kids that protect you. You understand? That is the idea. But I do it because I have access to knowledge, like you. You understand? And now that we have to put effort to protect the environment, and now we have to put effort for the generation to come, because I have access to information. You know, that's why I'm doing that. I'm trying to take the older people to, you know, all these older people watching what I'm doing there's like an institution that will push everyone to care for the trees. And that's what we do. They dig, and then we use pots very quick. So this is the project. You could see the trees, they're growing very fast, really. And so this is the building today. I tried to create a fortress to protect kids against the very harsh climate, to create a place where kids could grow, could learn easily, where teacher could teach very easily. So the client didn't like this. It's a German. They create this private school in the name of a brother of the husband that passed away by an accident in the US. And they named it after him. They wanted to be clean and nice. They didn't like this bicycle being outside, but I love it. It shows that life is inside. So they asked me to build a port to store bicycle. Okay, I'm an architect. I could build, you know. So we met. The nice thing is, this is the celebration. If you look at inside, the trees are still the trees. You cannot see them because here is a tree, and there's the one in the middle. But look at, they're growing already. The kids love the building, really. Every corner is used. So they're happy, really happy, because of the structure, because of the atmosphere, because of the quality, and because of the story of their parent. A team come with someone that never stopped to work, that is me, trying to do things, and if you don't understand him, you would think he will put you ashamed. But that's why this happened. So that is a miracle in that what I'm doing, really. For my people, not you. For you, is this boring, maybe. But for them, nothing was there. Building, architecture has been considered in Burkina Faso as a corporate institution of a government project. You understand? So you see it arrive, it's big, and if it break, you call someone come from France and fix it. Now, me, one of the community is doing that. That is the excitement in my country. You understand? That is it. That is the difference. So, wind towers, it works very fine. You see the kids standing there, windsurfing, showing me, okay, it worked. I wanted the air to be sucked from inside the building and cool the building. Suddenly it works. You could see this in the kids. They play with the wind. So, and the population is happy. They start to settle around the building to be in the pull position. So, you know, they start to build around. The client got angry. I said, no, I told you, don't be like in German, so tight and take big land. You could build teacher housing there. I'm happy. The population is settling there. I don't need to do something. I just put the seed and it start to work. Yes. This I do for client. In the meantime, I get paid to do that, which is good. In the meantime, the people that are trained in Gando work in like 10 different building sites. Every single one this big, this size. That's why if you invite me for a lecture, you will see you will struggle. I cannot come because my people are waiting for me, you know. But let's go back to Gando. So I have a foundation. When I start to build, I had to look for money. As a student, everyone says, why you, a student, are going to build a school and not the government? I said, no, it is me. There is no government in Burkina Faso that will build a school for me in the village. So I created my foundation. It's a very long name, but it worked. And today, we changed the name, KD Foundation. With the money that I'm raising, I am doing things like you can see, even the high school. But look at, I want to do things differently. Here is something that we have in Gando, pots, clay pots, that is built by, even my mother. So, like, you could understand. And I want to use them. We use them like this with the cart, or the women camp, very powerful group in Africa, really. The women are the strongest part in Africa, really. And they came together and put this there, and I am tracing, making marks, and we start to cut. Again, you will see the kids standing and watching how you work. And then we do the production. We put them on the top of the ceiling, pour concrete to create openings. So we have much better pictures for the building, but I wanted to talk about process. And then you have like opening for light and ventilation. So simple. But for my people again, so I am crazy. I am the one that people love. I am the one that people trust because he plays, he destroys, like this pot, he cut them, and suddenly it becomes something different. And so, and it is like great. And the neighborhood, the surrounding villages want to go to Gando to play and to see what's happening. Maybe I am part of a building process. And this is something new. Okay, back to Berlin. I'm living in Berlin. I'm trained architect. I'm trying to do some work. Here is an example. I was asked to do a theater. Okay, I asked where. So then I am very curious, but I pay attention to European. Ask it where. I don't want to do a second theater in Africa. So it should be a satellite theater in Berlin. I say, okay, in Berlin, well, it's good, sounds good. A real theater or what is it? So, yes, it's a satellite theater. I said no, yes. And I discovered there was a big conflict in this theater. The theater called Volksbühne is a political theater, very strong in Germany, very strong. And then it has, it was stopped by the Nazi time. And then afterward, Germany was divided. It has become powerful in the East Germany. Political, you understand. And now it is again political. The theater has a new director, the former Tate Modern director. He took over. He wanted to open the theater to the world. But change are not simply complicated in Burkina Faso. They're even in Germany. It's not easy to change people's mind. So he encountered rejection. And again, I am in the middle of interest. Okay, this is Tempelhof, a huge theater, belongs till today to one of the biggest buildings in the world, 1.2 kilometers from one end to the other. And people love it. Okay, I enter the building. The client, the director of the airport tells me, Francis, you're not allowed to drill. It is heritage protected. What? I want to build a theater inside a hangar. I'm not allowed to drill. How can I build a theater for 1,000 people? No, you're not allowed to drill. I stand. I don't know what to do. Okay, I will hang it. The structure. I will hang it. Big beams. I can hang it. No, you're not allowed to hang it. But how can I build a theater for 1,000 people? Everyone started to discuss. I said, okay, let's build an aircraft. First, there is an idea to create a structure. So that is almost like this. Show intimacy without giving everything. The theater should open, and if you are invited, you have the right to benefit. And create a stair that can move. You could just change it. And create something like this and put it in wheels. You see? You could move it out. Very naive, yes, but the right solution. In the office, a lot of choreographer, theater maker just arrive in the office. They say, phenomenal, that is the solution we needed. But there is still a conflict. You see that I'm paying attention. We have to wait for the government to say okay for the money because it's government finance. And Berlin is very complicated this moment, but not for me. While they're having this struggle and thinking that is my main concern, no, my main concern is Africa. So there is no way to block me, to stop my enthusiasm. We design, everyone is now starting to celebrate the theater as a visionary idea, but I couldn't do this when I didn't work with these artists. Because it's a secret, I own a theater in Burkina Faso. It's a so-called perfect theater, designed by one of the pioneers in theater in Germany, designed 100 years ago, and then later on built by Ruhr Triennale. And I use it one time, and I give it to my friend Christoph Schlingensief, who passed away. And this is a theater that is in the container that you see in the desert. So I own the theater, but no one knows it. Because we hide it, it was a point of criticism. So saying why he's taking a theater to Africa when he wanted to build. So it was our secret, and I learned through the theater. So I could design this, and the expert check it, and they say, wow, he could move it out. That is it. This is my idea. You should move it out and open it to a broader public. For the moment, you have refugees in the hangars, and one idea was to find a way to integrate them, to get them be part of the production of the theater, which is very delicate in Germany. But at the end, if you could create a performance where the new arrival, I don't call them refugees, where the new arrival meet Berlin, that would be great. This is my mission. That's why I'm talking about this project. Not to show you that I'm a good designer. I'm always trying to see in my work how can I come with a solution that is more than architecture. Okay, the main concern, Burkina Faso, a revolution. The leader was far away from the people. People take over the parliament house, burn it down, like you can see. And what I do, I was called by a group of intellectuals to help think about a new parliament house. And so what I do, a new parliament house, open, a tree is open. Democratic, a tree is democracy. Sitting in the circle is okay. And to create educational area and a museum inside the parliament house, okay? What I did, I was thinking about the tree, to design around the tree, a pyramid. On the top, you should go corn and show the population how you could do agriculture on the top of a pyramid. But yesterday when I showed on Ukmal the pyramid, I was impressed. Be sure that Ukmal picture will be one of, my picture to show this project. But however, I wanted to give people another perspective. We don't have that much high-rise building in Burkina. I mean, it's too much to say. We have less building that have two-story. Everything is flat. So people don't really see the reality. So I wanted to give first a perspective, but a celebration place for people to go and celebrate wedding. I wanted to create a public space when people can use it. Go on top all the time. The next revolution, which will come because we are so stupid. We're human beings. We are so stupid. We often forget the other people. So the next revolution will come. But if it comes, and I happen to build this building, people will not burn it down because it's their place. They're allowed to climb the building all the day that will protect it. That is my idea inside. But you have to fight to convince. Everyone loves the building, but there is not a lot of money. If someone has the money, you could join me, we should build it, because that is the struggle for the moment. One idea we have in the office is my office know that they design with me for let me say Obama family, for the granny and his sister. We're designing a lot of stuff, and to convince the Burkina government to build a project. We've been thinking how make it small, make it nice, explain him. It's good, he love it, but you know, always he says, Monsieur Kéré, as Mr. Kéré, Monsieur Kéré. Now he say, Monsieur Francis, meaning Mr., but my name to say I am his friend, but there's still no money. The idea we had is this. Andrea start to look at my archive and find a picture, me and the President Obama. And he start to cut, he just cut it, put the parliament president with Obama shaking hand, and he start to laugh. Francis, if you show this to the parliament president, he will let you build it now because he will be sure Obama will come and visit him. So, okay, a good idea. We put it, and a couple of weeks later, I was in the office. Everyone was smiling, but a serious smiling. I said, what happening? Francis, we need to change the picture. The US has a new president. And I'm looking and say, okay, I want to do everything to convince, but I have ethic. I have my limit. So, so even without Trump, I am allowed to do the next Serpentine Pavilion. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good. Okay? Yeah. Yes. I feel very far from you. That one is a little tricky, but...
Francis, bueno. Francis me comentó ya en varias ocasiones, entre ayer y hoy, que lo que más le gusta es que le hagan buenas preguntas. Creo que una buena manera de dar estos regalos son que los que hagan preguntas se los podamos ir dando. Así que, se abre este momento para hacer preguntas.
How often do you travel between Germany and your country?
This is a good question, and this is horrible. This is not sustainable. If I have like the time when I was doing the Opera Village, I happened to travel 6 to 7 times to fly from Berlin to Ouagadougou in a month, which is not sustainable. And even not for my body, not for the economy, but we have to do that. I'm traveling a lot. The last time I have been in Ouagadougou was in between Christmas and New Year. I was like short because of the Serpentine. I spend more time in Europe, but normally I go 2 to 3 times to Ouagadougou, to Burkina Faso. I'm trying, at minimum 2 times.
How do you work with metal? Do you weld it? or what system do you use for working with the structures that you have at the top of your buildings?
Yeah, it's welding. We weld a lot. Connection work very good in Africa, because if you will be surprised. You will see in every corner, you see everyone welding. And so is a very popular way of connecting things, and we weld a lot. Bolts, sometimes we do, but it's not so easy to find good bolting to resist. But we do a lot of welding, yeah. And I have a special team. I can't give you like 100 people that can weld at the best roofers because I need a lot of them.
How do you get inspiration for your?
Okay.
What is your creative process?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get inspiration for your buildings or your structural systems?
Yeah. This is sometimes not easy to say exactly when this came, but first, if I have an idea, I sketch. I sketch a lot. I'm making model. Sometime I was saying to someone who wanted me to sit in a quiet room in the 2 days before in Mexico City, if I could work. I tell him, if I have a moment and I have an idea, whatever you do, I don't see you, I don't hear you. So it's like a caption. So that moment came when you start to think, looking to nature, checking to other project, looking for a solution, and suddenly this moment is there. And you don't want to talk, you want to put it on the paper. So that happening, but it's like you could be walking or jogging and then the solution appear, you know? So it's very differently. It could be like sitting in a restaurant with a lot of people being loud and suddenly, I got it. Let's run and put it on the paper or try to make a mock-up and see it. It's very differently. It's different, but it's a very exciting moment. You know, this struggle with, you don't know, insecurity, but excitement, and suddenly you got the picture. So, yeah, it's happened sometimes even in an aircraft where you then say, oh shit, I cannot come, sorry. I cannot call, you know, I cannot call. I have the solution, you know, and you start to do, and suddenly there is no pen. So the stewardess passes and you say, do you have a pen and paper for me, please? So this is very differently, but it's a very exciting moment in designing, yes. It's happened. So you don't know how, but it's jogging, running, or doing something weird, and sometimes listening to music, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes if I have Bob Marley or some salsa music, so it's fluid, you know. Okay, so satisfied? Okay.
Good evening.
Hi.
What made you choose Germany or Berlin as the city to study architecture?
Yeah. It's very banal. I got a scholarship from the German government. Normally people from Burkina Faso will go to a French-speaking country, but I got a scholarship to go and be trained in Berlin as an activist for development using wood. You understand, it's like a paradigm. So Burkina Faso has no wood, but I got this scholarship because no one wanted to have it. The elite was not interested in doing carpentry. So me and my friend, we applied and we got it. And so that's why I end up in Germany. Very simple. Are you a teacher here? Are you a teacher? No? A colleague? Colleague, good.
Is it a concern that your work gets political, or does it worry you, that subject? Or how do you keep that from happening?
I didn't really get it. So again, please, lady. I want to listen to your voice again. It's a trick.
Is it a concern that your works, your projects gets political?
Ah, okay. Then I got it. No, you know, I am a passionate architect, and honestly, I love to be here, of course, with you. But honestly, now I will be sitting with the worker, having a beer or wine, you know. And I love to be somewhere and do the work. So, for the moment, is no way to escape politics. You understand? If you act, if you create the building, it touch a lot of, you know, a group, a lot of stakeholder, and that is the problem. that people are looking to you like, okay, you do this intervention, and of course there is a lot of questions. If it's the right thing that you're doing, or why not other people cannot do the same, or why the government is not supporting you. Suddenly it becomes political what you do if you don't want. And I hope I will be smart enough, okay, to be smart enough to just use it, like for the Parliament House. Bunch came to pick me today. The Minister of Building in Burkina is trying to call me since 3 days, asking me, you have to be Monday in Burkina Faso to supervise a competition for people that wanted me to build a new city for 100,000 people. I know that is fake. Why should I mix myself? So it became dangerous because you will have people that you reject and they may have power, try to be against you, but believe me, if things work easily, it is boring. Creativity, real engagement, real change occur when you are under pressure, when there is constraint. So I try to, I know the government is there, I am doing my work, suddenly the Guardians is writing about the revolution in Burkina Faso that happened 30 years ago when I was like a little baby, So you cannot escape to be political if you are architect. You could just be happy building hidden housing. This is okay. But doing that, what we do, is political. But I would love to do it differently, like I told you. Sitting somewhere with friends, talking about architecture, having nice drinks, and laughing. But that is the choice. Okay? She got it?
Hi, Kere. Good night. Here.
Good night. I'm not sleeping. I'm here with you.
Hi, I'm here in the middle. The question is, from your perspective, what do you think are the characteristics of the new or actual architectural students now, and the characteristics of actual teachers, architectural teachers?
Wow. But important. First, I think we have a reason to be optimistic because we have access of information, of knowledge. I think the student actually, a student should be much more open, and I think they are really to be ready to discover, to explore. I think a teacher should be pushing nowadays. A teacher should be supporting ideas, initiative. In my case, when I had this idea, I had a lot of professors that said, oh, wow, this is nice. It could be a project. It could be good. It is small, but it could be a contribution. You have to make out of it more than just, a social project, So I think both. The student today, I will push you to be much more engaged, really, to be much more engaged, and not just to finish it like limited to the school. You have to extend. So meaning you have to travel, you have to be ready to discover, and to invest more time in architecture. Yeah. And to be sure you will not start tomorrow and be the day after tomorrow sumto, or, but you have to have the courage to put your finger in dirt. And the teacher must have the ability to push you in doing that. Is that well answered?
Yes.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Francis, thank you for your wonderful lecture. It was very inspiring. My question is, you mentioned that you was impressed with the works of Master Louis Kahn. I would like to know more detail which of the works from Louis Kahn were inspiring to you, or which of the details from Louis Kahn did you use in your works, or what was the mostly important thing that you think Louis Kahn influenced in your works?
So architecture is, let us be honest to each other. It's high sophistication. And if you have been following the discussion in the past time, you have seen that leading architect was always from really powerful countries, Germany, the US, and so even Mexico. I'm talking about Luis Barragan, with strong influence, or Europe. Suddenly to see that Luis Khan went to Bangladesh and tried to work with the local and using one material like the brick, was fascinating to me. First, the material that is more, so really, so shaping structure with one material. That was fascinating to me. Yeah, this is one big aspect. And then the light. Now more, and the design then, the light. How his buildings are so inspiring with the so different level of putting light. Because of light, the spaces extend. And about the personal engagement, to dedicate yourself for architecture like he did, the being passionate, keep drawing while you understand, while the builder has the drawing, and he keep drawing, he keep trying to change, like he keep being creative, like keep being optimistic, and keep seeing the project, even in the building phase, as still a process. So I'm working like that. I try to do that. So to consider that nothing is finished. In my case, if you finish, you have plans, and suddenly there is not more money, which happen all the time, really, would happen, you have to stop or to find a solution. So, and I think Luis will have been doing that, even to change complexity. That's what I love. And then in general, I love his buildings in the US, how he can just create something that stands and is so powerful. And I happened to visit his house for management, the school for management in Ahmedabad. So, and then I'm fascinated why he was able to build something so powerful in this country that found a way back to the Western world. That inspired me a lot. Okay?
Hey.
He's saying yes. He's saying yes, with the head like this. You cannot see. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Francis.
Hi.
Right here. I'm here. You're
okay.
Right. You're
okay.
right.
Okay.
Can you tell us a moment where in working with the community, the community take your design idea, your original design idea of your plans or of your sections, and the community destroy the idea and help you to improve it or change it totally using their ancestral knowledge or their techniques or their sensibility to the material or where espérame. Wait. I think if you build your first building when you were in second grade of the university, I think the community in that moment were in possession of some knowledge that you didn't know, and pues destroys is the only word that came to my mind, but changed totally your design idea. Can you tell us a moment where the community teach you?
I have to be very honest here to say that the community has been very supportive and at the same time very skeptical, because you came with an idea. I wanted to build first with wood, the roofing, and they make me now be aware about termite, to showing me no building will stand. This is one thing. But for the first school, it was like in the building process, the plan was already standing, but it evolved. And it is a lot you could not see. So we have a ceiling that is hanging. So I don't talk a lot, don't go inside the buildings, because if I come to a presentation, you have the feeling you will not bother the people with one project, but it is so rich. And the way we did it, it's look modern, but knowledge from the community flow inside. Their criticism, their expectation. A clay building that size will never stand a rainy season. I have to react, finding a solution for them. one strong experience I had is we had the walls 2 meter high for the first school. And at night, a storm came with a lot of rain. I wake up in the morning listening to a lot of voices, mostly women. And I said, okay, but I'm here since a couple of months. Why are they coming to say hello? Normally they came to encourage me, say hello. But then suddenly I heard people laughing, being happy outside. Oh, was a wedding. So what is it? They're happy. No, my brother told me, the women was coming to help, to support you, to cry, because they know you will cry. Because in their mind, a rain is coming and destroy all the buildings that you have done in the night. There was no roof, and a clay building will crash, for sure. But our building was standing. In this specific moment, something happened with me and my village. You understand? They were sure the building was crashed, but they didn't visit it. In their mind, it will not stand, but it was standing. That is almost like a spiritual connection. They start to say, okay, we will support this young man because he's doing something that we don't know before. His buildings are standing. He even able, half a wall was able to stand a rainy season. And I trust them because they engage themselves like a clay floor. I was taught by these women how to make this, by my community. I was taught how to mix the clay. You don't see it because the building is modern and perfect. If you have a clay bricks and you do a mortar out of clay, how do you find the right measure? It's not in the paper, so that you have no cracks, so that it stands. So I learned a lot of this, but the building looks so modern that you don't see the traditional influences, but you feel how the women just made the floor. If you come to Gando today, so we built the very first building in 2001. By the way, in terms of academic, I'm much, much younger than Bunch here. I graduated in 2004. No one knows that. People think I'm old. I'm not old. No? I graduated in 2004. And the knowledge, the passion of the people in Burkina helped me a lot. They taught me. Afterward, in the teacher housing, of course, you have the influence of the population. I wanted to introduce it today in the lecture, but there was no time. You will see that we put massive wall with plaster, and I just let the people do. Sometime in the buildings, if you see windows that are full of color, I don't decide to do. I start to talk about color with one because I think I have knowledge, but then everyone come and talk about the color, the entire village. Most of the time I left, and I come back and I see that they did it. They take ownership of the building and even the building process. They put colors, and I arrive most of the time very shocked. Oh, because you learn about Goethe, the colors, and other people, and you get shocked. And then everyone running to you to say, it's me, Francis, it's me that did this color. No, it's me that pushed people to do this color. You realize that everyone feel engaged in the building process. So I think that is the influence that I have, and I cannot explain you enough. But it's a very strong help. The buildings are still standing and people love them. That was because I listened to my people. Yeah. Okay, he's doing like this.
Hello. I just want to say that the passion that you have for helping out your community is very inspiring, and I salute you for that. My question is where did this come from? Where is it someone that growing up inspired you to pursue the career of an architecture and wanting to help your community this way? Is there somebody that helped or that led you or inspired you to do this?
Later a lot. So to be honest to you, I started like a blind guy because was strong for my community, honestly, really. Because if you grow up in my community, everyone is doing his job to help the community, everyone, really. So this is something that was already there. But at the end, if you see my career, you know for sure that I met people and I saw their fight. I had the feeling that my community was like broken, you know, people traveling a lot in the neighboring country to work. A lot of them never come back because they pass away there. And I feel the stronger interest to help. And then when I arrived in Germany, I was studying architecture. I had in mind to just come back and improve the quality of the housing. And one element was I came back and there was not enough money. I had to push the community to be part of the building process. Of course, with the power, joint effort, you build big with less financial tools, means. So why I study architecture, why I'm working with the community is something that I cannot say you it started by this. It started by my own childhood. I was sitting in classrooms where it was more than 40-degree hot, and I didn't like it. And I grew with the idea to make things better. The better way to do that is to study architecture, one thing. I grew up in a place where I was forced to work very hard as a child. Instead of playing soccer, you know, with the other kids, I had to carry on building material to fix a house that was broken all the year. And I hated this. I was saying a kid should play and not to carry out building material. I mean, that grows in my head. And so it comes together. And then you start to do your work and you discover people like Luis Khan that just invest his life to build in Bangladesh, to fight, or other people, or you know, you have somehow a magical moment, or you realize someone was fighting and then was able to do things. You consider yourself doing your work, but in my case, the reflection came later. So the thing that pushed me to do, honestly, was my heart. I just wanted to do something. Yeah. Later on, I could have a lot of people that I love, like Luis Khan and whatever, but at the beginning, it was not that. It was like, it is in you. You have to meet people that says, that is what you're doing is good. And I knew that it was good, because I'm here. Okay? He says like this.
Just was one question. Is you have had the privilege of working in different places and the privilege of learning from different cultures. So I would like to ask you, which are your first impressions of the Yucatan, specifically, and your first impressions about Mexico in general?
Yeah. Also, so, you know, if you lived in Germany, you learn Mexico, you know that it exists. If you live in Burkina, you learn, you know, Mexico. So you have seen the Western film movies. And you discover this country, and for me was both. Like Mexico was America. I didn't have the difference, and then arrived in Germany, discovering Mexican food. It's spicy, it's good, a lot of meat. In Burkina, you don't have that much, and it is good, and wow, a great country. It's a place to go. And then every time when I heard something about Mexico, is a lot of color. A lot of color. So that what I had. And then the architecture, of course, I discovered Barragan. I discovered the work of Barragan. And then, to be honest, when you keep going and you looking to the global information level, where the intent is to highlight something like talking only about the drugs problem in cities and everything, you know about it. About Mexico, it's very hard and difficult. When I just arrived in Mexico, I can tell you, I'm more than positively impressed. I arrived at the airport. I was supposed to be picked up by two ladies, but we landed 1 hour earlier. And I asked someone at the desk, what is the taxi cost from the airport to the hotel? I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is banal to you, but for me it's so important how I discover culture. He says to me 260 to 380 between. So I went to the desk The first taxi, I asked him, he told me 260. 260. And he brought me direct to my hotel. So if you read this about crime is too big and so, and they told you the average is 260 to 380, and the first driver you pick up tell you 260 and brought you to the hotel. You know, the next day we had a cocktail in a place. I had no cash. I asked someone, asked the driver if I can pay with dollars. I took him. He took me to a place. He says, yes, no problem, sir. And he started to explain me the city. We arrived. He asked me for $10. And I knew in Berlin it would cost me 60 to 80 euros, you know. So first, people are honest. People are so lovely. I was so really impressed about how warm these people are, really. And I feel it goes through the entire country and welcoming. And the other thing that I really realize is honest. You understand? Is honest. That's what we're learning about this place is it's totally wrong. Totally wrong. And so I am touched, yes. And about to see how you have to struggle with a big city like Mexico to find your way through, you understand, to find your way to work, in a very dense city. You know, Berlin is made for 8 million people and only 4 million people are living there. Imagine my feeling my admiration to all of these people just working hard around. I mean, I discovered hardworking people, but happy people, helpful people, and the architecture is the best. Yes, Yucatan, unbelievable. Yeah, I cannot talk about it. If I talk about it now, it's to underestimate it. Give me some years, and we could talk about it. Okay? I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Francis, are you teaching in some university or did you give classes?
Is the question? Okay. It's Oscar. I had the chance to share an afternoon with Oscar and to visit some haciendas, some of your cultural heritage, to see things and then to be engaged in the dialogue. Yes, I'm teaching. I'm teaching in Mendrisio. It's a school founded by Mario Botta and other people. It's a school where some of the first teachers was Peter Sumtor. There I'm teaching. I taught for 6 years in Berlin, and then it was boring for me, you know. After 6 years, I left. I taught for 1 year at Harvard, and then now I still have one leg inside Harvard. So where I just get the student to come and do workshop, because that's what I can offer. I hate jet lag. And to go from Ouagadougou to Berlin and there to Boston and back just for 1 week is so terrible. So now I have this engagement in Mendrisio, which is good. It's so 3 hours from Berlin, 1.5 hours to Milan, and then with a car to Mendrisio where I'm teaching. But what I'm doing, I try to get the student be involved in my work, bringing them to Africa, for example, to work with me. To discover how things work differently. Yeah, I'm teaching, yes. You're welcome.
Another question over here from a student. How was the value of your community and your own heritage integrated and part of your project for this pavilion?
Which one?
This Serpentine Pavilion.
Okay. So. Can I go back? Just one slide back. Yeah, I prefer this picture than the serpentine. Yeah. Yes. No. You know, today I can say to you that I did something. I'm happy about it. The influence. I wanted to create an open space, and in my schools, you will see always that it is open. So and this is my cultural heritage. I always like, here is like what I love, to be outside, but it is even a space. So the Serpentine Pavilion will be something like this. It is open. You have more than 4 entrances. The walls are detached from the roof, and the roof is made to collect water. And this is my cultural heritage. Water has a high value in my culture because it's, if you have no water, you cannot grow corn, and it's not raining that often. And I wanted to celebrate water in London, just to show to the Western people the value of water for cultures like mine that suffer to have water. In London it could rain a lot. Instead of being against, I wanted to work with it. There is something from my culture that is so powerful that I wanted to introduce. And then the tree as a gathering space. That is what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like creating an enclosure. I just wanted to put the idea of a tree as a meeting place, as a gathering space, as a very open, welcoming space. This is my introduction, cultural heritage or thinking for that pavilion. Yes. Satisfied? Are you satisfied? I don't see her.
Yes, she is. She's over here.
Okay, good.
Well, Francis, one last question.
Good night, Francis.
Hi.
Actually, it's a package of 2 questions, the last question. But the first one is very simple. How old are you?
Younger than Bunch.
That was just
Hey, come on. I graduated in 2004. When I started to do my high school degree in Germany, he was already an architect. So, come on.
That was just to confirm that you are too young to be thinking about your farewell. But I would like to know, how would you like to be remembered in the future in Burkina Faso? What you would like to be your legacy to your people?
This is a very, very exciting question. At the beginning, I never thought about it. I'm concerned about it. I will answer seriously about it, of your question. I start more to read about Hassan Fati, about people that has an idea to introduce new things or to do architecture, and then later it failed. My heritage, I wish from me to be remembered as someone that just show a new field of activities to the people in Burkina Faso. Normally, people in Burkina want to go to Polytechnical in Paris to study science, and then come back and become politician. Nowadays, a lot of young people want to be architect, want to use the material we have in Burkina to create school, like they say, to do like Francis. A journalist told me, he was asking kids, what is their dream in future? They said, we want to be Francis. And this is powerful, to show my people to do things differently. That is what I would love to see, not just in architecture, in every field, and to take our own destiny, our own future in our own hand, and not to wait for someone generous to come and give us everything all the time. That is what I hope to be remembered about. Yeah, not more. If it happened through architecture, it's wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really want to thank you, Francis, this magnificent lecture. Thank you very much for sharing all this work and all these dreams you have, and to share with us this love you have for Burkina and for Gando. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we want to give you a simple present, two simple presents. One of them is this, ¿cómo se dice?
Cartela. Cartela. Cartela.
It's one like the columns of the building of this university, because people like you are helping us to build university, not as the building instead, but yes, about our convictions and about our learns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And the other one is a hammock. You saw a hammock in I think you use hammocks in Burkina.
Oh, yes.
So this is the Yucatecan one. It's very comfortable. You can use it with your wife or whatever. Thank you. Thank you very much. Vamos a dar un aplauso.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bueno, y muchas gracias a todos por venir. Y nada más recordarles que en una semana también vamos a tener el congreso, que va a estar aquí Toyo Ito, Ezequiel, Farca y Gustavo Carmona. Y creo que vamos a poder, si Dios quiere, estrenar el auditorio.